welcome to this solo episode of the In My Era podcast. I legitimately have no idea what episode this is, no clue, but I do know that what I wanted to talk about today was the strength of weak ties and how I have used my weak ties to change my life. And I feel like not use them, it's just whatever, we'll get into it. And why I think you should be using weak ties to get further in life. The whole idea of weak ties, I came to understand from the book, The Defining Decade, which was recommended to me by a few different people. And honestly, this book has been seriously life-changing. I'm reading it now for the first time, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go back and read this a few times to fully understand and absorb all the material and kind of all the book talks about. But the gist of it is it's this therapist tips on how to make the most of your 20s and how important your 20s are and how many people kind of just waste them because you don't really know what to do. But yeah, she talked a little bit about weak ties. And the idea is that we have all these strong ties to people, like our close friends, our parents, our close circle. But often our weak ties, which are right outside of our circle, have the biggest ability to help us and push us forward. Because in our inner circle, with our close ties, we have such similar ways of thinking and similar people that we know that it's not broad enough. But our weak ties have such different lives and experiences and perspectives that it makes it easier to grow. And I have experienced this within the last few years, but especially recently. Overall, I have been feeling like internally I am a chicken that has its head cut off and I am just running around having no idea what I'm doing. I would say I'm having a good time with it. I am enjoying being very lost in life and finding myself and learning new things about myself. I'm having a really good time with it, but it is so chaotic. I have decided this last few weeks to just, jump into it. I'm trying to jump into everything that makes me uncomfortable. I want to try everything. If I want to try posting on YouTube, I'm going to post on YouTube. If I want to post my inner demons therapy poetry, I'm going to do it. If I want to, make a podcast episode about sex, I'm going to do it. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to do that yet. But theoretically, I'm going to do all the things that make me uncomfortable. I'm diving into it. And with that, I have been expanding my circle out to my weak ties. And so far, it has been the best thing that I have ever done. And it's interesting now because I can look back on my life over the last few years and I can notice when I have made weak ties and how they've changed my life. And I wanted to talk about how that all happened. I would say the first time that I really started reaching out was never on purpose. I was working a front desk job at Orange Theory Fitness in La Jolla. Shout out OTFLJ. What a squad. Anyways, I'm working the front desk. Guys, I'm gonna be so honest, that job was so fun. It was so fun. I met so many cool people. But one day, these two girls came in to take a class. And they were my age. And I was surprised because normally, Orange Theory La Jolla members, they were I'm gonna say 40 to 60. There was just no one my age ever came in. And so I was so excited to see girls my age. And my job was to sell them on a membership. But immediately I knew these girls. I'm these girls cannot afford a membership. They can't afford to live here. And they are just here for the free class. And so I'm not going to try and sell them on a membership. I'm going to embrace what they're here for. And so they come out of class and they're talking to me about how honestly they didn't really like it. And I was like, okay, yeah, you don't like it? Then don't sign up for a membership. Don't do it. Honestly, probably just don't come back. And then they thought that I was hilarious for saying that. And we were just vibing, okay? And so I say to them, and this was crazy. I've never said anything like this before. I say to them, can I have your guys' Instagrams? Can we be friends? And can we hang out? If someone asked me that, I think I would love it. But, like, just saying that out of nowhere came out of left field for me. Like, I was not planning on asking these girls to be my friends. But they said yes. And we did actually become very, very close friends after that. Like, they were, like, my close circle for the next year after that. And then, I mean, eventually there was a falling out. But through them, I've met like, my, like, now one of my favorite people, like, ever in my life. So, whatever. Everything happens for a reason. But when I reached out to them and I was like, wait, you guys are really cool. Can we be friends? I was horrified. That was so out of my comfort zone. And I was nervous to go hang out with them for the first time. I remember I was like, oh my god, like, is it going to be awkward? Is it going to be weird? And we all vibed so much. Like, it was just so much fun. That was October of, like, 2022. So, a little bit ago. Now, you know, it's my spring, end of college, and I'm scrambling. I'm like, guys, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do with my life? I'm scrambling. And so I'm like, okay, what should I do? I'm talking to everyone, literally talking to everyone that I can talk to about how their post-grad experience went, how they found their career, if they have advice. Like, I'm trying to get coffee with people. Like, I am like, guys, I just want to talk to everyone and hear all of the experiences. So I'm reaching out to all of my weak ties. I met this woman. Her name is Brielle. Shout out Brielle, if you're ever listening. I met her when I worked at Viore. She was, like, checking out, and she was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm a fitness instructor. And I was like, no way. Because, you know, I teach yoga sculpt, so I'm like, I love fitness instructors. What do you do? And she was like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, whatever. But I also, like, have my own interior design company that I'm really focusing on right now. And I was like, that is so cool. Because, oh my gosh, it's fine. That threw me off. Anyways, I was like, that's so cool because I love, like, fitness and that industry, but I am also looking for maybe a more creative job, like, to pursue a career in. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, like, give me your number, like, we should. And I was like, oh my god. So anyways, I give this girl my number. She texts me. I text her and I'm like, hey, could we get coffee and meet up? And, like, could I hear your story and kind of, like, learn a little bit more about you and how you got into the field that you're in and whatever. Anyways, she says yes. We meet up for coffee. She is so cool. Like, seriously, I had so much fun talking to her. We talked for hours outside this coffee shop. Just, like, I mean, we talked at first about her life, how she got into her career, how she met her husband, like, when she got married, like, and then it just, like, branched out from there. Like, it was like, okay, well, this is my career, but I'm still figuring it out. And, like, low-key, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like we're friends now. Like, we're planning on hanging out and, like, going for a hike. And she wants to, like, help me with my career. And, like, she wants me to help her with her business whenever they need help. And it's just so cool. It just felt awesome to, like, talk to another human and, like, be able to connect with them over something so random. Like, when I met this girl at Viore, when she was checking out and I was, like, you know, ringing her up, never was I like, oh, this girl I'm gonna, like, hang out with and, like, we're gonna click. But it's like, I felt like we were just, like, really good friends right away. Like, it was like I had known her forever. I felt really comfortable just being so straightforward with her, like, saying, like, intimate details of my life. And I think same with her. She told me, like, some personal things and we were like, wait, this is so cool. And that kind of just inspired me to go further into my weak ties, because I met her once at Viore, but talking to her, like, gave me this new perspective that kind of gave me a little bit more passion and excitement for figuring out my future. It gave me stepping stones to be like, okay, you're into fitness, look into X, Y, and Z. You're into creative things, look into X, Y, and Z. And she has her own unique skill set that can help me. And then me, as just a random girl, I can also help her with whatever she needs. It's just so cool, you guys. And I feel like it's one of those things where, yeah, like, that's obvious if you talk to people who you only kind of know. But, like, no one actually does it, you know? Like, I want this to motivate anyone listening, like, go talk to someone random. Like, go ask someone that you met once to go get coffee and just listen to their stories. I feel like sometimes I feel so disconnected from other people. I think because of social media, technology, like we're all just so individual focused or into our families, our friends, our circles. And I forget how cool it is to branch out and like not go crazy, but like, dabble, like get coffee with this person and coffee with this person. As humans, we were made to interact. And I have already learned so much from meeting new people. I feel like I've grown more the last few weeks than I have like the past few months. Because the past few months I've just been honestly hibernating. As I say, I've been hibernating. I'm coming out of hibernation now because it's spring. Spring is happening. And I'm just trying to dive into my weak ties. I had another weak tie experience today, which was so cool. At one of the yoga classes that I was teaching today, this girl came in and she sat her mat down next to me in the front row, and I was like, yes, I always love when people come and like set down stuff next to me because I hate to be alone in the front row just like talking, And this girl sat down next to me and she had taken my class previously and was like, oh my gosh, I love you so much, like I want to follow you on Instagram. And so this girl and I have followed each other on Instagram for like a couple of weeks now, and in my head I'm like, this girl is so cool. Like she posts her life on her like Instagram stories, and I'm like, this girl's cool, like I want to be her friend. So when she sat on her mat next to me today in class, I was like, yes. And all throughout class I was like, shout out blank, I'm not gonna say her name, but I'm like, you're awesome, you're killing it. And whenever I would be like, okay guys, like how are we feeling, she was the only girl in the room who was like, yeah, like give me some energy, which was super fun. And after class she stayed and she talked to me a little bit, and she was like, hi, like I know like you just shared about like being like entering post-grad and not really knowing what you want to do with your life and etc. And she was like, I'm 26 years old, I just like restarted my career brand new for the third time. And she was like, it all works out. And she was just talking to me about it, like her experience, and she was so cool. And she was like, we should hang out. And I was like, I would be so down. And so tomorrow is her dog's first birthday, and she invited me, and we're going to the beach together, and we're going to celebrate her dog's first birthday. And maybe that sounds weird, but like guys, it just flowed. It felt so natural and just so cool to connect with new people. Like this girl I've met once at my yoga class one time prior, and then I followed her on Instagram, and now it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna hang out and like be friends. It's so cool. It's also, I think, a reminder of the good in people, which I think is needed. Always. Let's always have more reminders for the good in people, because there isn't enough of it. I think it's really special when two humans can just like come together and be like, hey, like I want to hear who you are, I want to hear what you're interested in, and then vice versa, and like let's help each other, because we're all so much stronger when we're together. Obviously, strength in numbers, but like just do it, like lean into it. I guess that's kind of all I have to say, which is kind of a short episode. Maybe thank God. Like, some people were like, oh my God, an hour-long episode? You know what? Here's a baby one. Just sprinkle it in there, okay? Yeah, weak ties are fire. I'm loving it. I'm loving getting out of my comfort zone. I push you guys to do the same, okay? Make a goal for the week to meet someone, like a weak tie, and ask them to get coffee. Or if you don't drink coffee, ask them to meet up and get lunch. Or something casual where it's just like, we can talk and then leave, if you guys don't vibe. It's kind of like a first date, but like for networking and friendships. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. I literally forgot to post the episode last week. Just straight up did not remember. So sorry about that, but I'll see you next week. Goodbye.